Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Paul here. So, welcome to today's episode. What I want to talk about today is how I built a really small but really profitable email list, and I did it all completely for free. And I actually didn't start email marketing until 2017. I actually ran a business that was actually profitable for quite a few years. There was a few years where I didn't make any money whatsoever, but I ran a business that was profitable from 2002 to 2017, and I didn't have an email list. And I remember listening to a podcast that said the best time to start an email list is like 20 years ago, but the second best time is today. And I was like, okay, I need to start an email list. And that's when I started gathering emails. It wasn't until 2017. And I started my first business, like I say, in 2002. So it's kind of crazy. But as you can see here, I went from 20% open rate and 2% click-through rate. And the last three emails, I actually did 63% open rate, 22% click-through rate. And the 22% is not of the emails, it's 22% of my entire list, right? And then 65%, 25%, 64%, 23%. And this is a common theme. And it's because of the thing I'm going to show you now. It's actually something that we implemented. And also, I've managed to pick up some prestigious marketing awards in my industry. And last year, I don't like talking about this, but this is true. We actually generated $2.6 million for our own products. And all I've spent on Facebook ads in the last 20 years, or however long they've been running, is 11,385. And I haven't run any ads for the last 3 years anyway, right? So it's kind of crazy. So what I want to talk about is like what you want to think about, and this is kind of the thing where I started to think, is like your autoresponder. So you might be using Aweber, ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, MailChimp. You might be using the one that's built into your landing page software, which is what I do. I actually use the one that's built inside a Kartra. Works really well. But it kind of doesn't matter. The autoresponder that you're sending emails from is looking for signals, and it's talking to the Gmail or whatever the service provider that they're going to receive the emails is, right? So they're going to be talking to each other and they're looking for signals. And if they don't get the right signals, what happens is they're going to put them in either the promotions, the social, or the updates tab if you're on Gmail. Actually, the spam folder, whatever it is basically the last place it goes, right? It's going to go into these first. But it doesn't matter. If it goes into any of them, it's pretty much dead, right? Because if it goes in there once and it's never retrieved, then the signals are that it's not being retrieved, they're not being opened, and they're just going to carry on going there. But unfortunately, what that also means is your future emails will go there as well, right? And we learned this really, really fast. And the signals are going backwards and forwards, right? But our main goal and our only goal really is to send everything to the inbox, right? Because that's where people are going to get them. That's where they're going to open them. And we want all of our emails going in the inbox. And we figured it out. We figured out how to do it consistently so that the autoresponder and the email service provider are giving each other the right signals, right? So the unfortunate thing is that most emails nowadays will end up in the spam. And if you think about it, right, if you look at your inbox today, how much have you got going in there than maybe you did 5 years ago? It's a lot less. But if you go over to your promotions tabs, you go over to your other tabs, you'll see a ton of stuff in there, right? And that's basically what's happening. Most of it's going to end up in those spam folders, right? And the cost of getting emails is going through the roof. For instance, in my industry, if I run a Facebook ad now, and I actually don't run them, but I've found this out from people in my industry, right? It's going to cost around about $20 or $30 for a lead in my industry, right? And 5 years ago, it was like $2 or $3 a lead maximum, sometimes $1 a lead, right? So that's gone up 10x just in the last few years. And obviously, bearing in mind that most of those leads are going to go to the spam folder anyway, that's kind of not great, is it? So my ultimate goal was for them to see my name and want to open my email. And I was actually at an event a couple of years ago, and I was actually speaking at this event, but I was sitting in the audience just watching the other speakers. And one speaker came on stage and he said, "What's the one thing that gets the email opened?" And everybody was like, "Okay, it's the title." And I was thinking, "Yeah, it's the title." And everyone was wrong, and I was wrong. It's your name, right? It's your brand. At the end of the day, like if you build know, like, and trust with somebody, then they're going to be looking forward to opening your emails, even if you're selling like crazy. If you've built know, like, and trust, there's people in my industry that sell like crazy, but I still open their emails because I want to see what they're up to. I want to see what they've got, right? But I trust them, right? I know, like, and trust them, and it doesn't matter whether they're trying to sell me something because I want to hear from them. And that's the main thing, right? At the end of the day, we want to build know, like, and trust, but we don't really want. And I realised, like, selling out of the gate, the first thing you do is you just start selling and you just put everything behind a paywall. Then everybody's kind of like, there's millions of you out there. I don't want to deal with you, right? So we decided that we weren't going to do that. We're going to start nurturing new subscribers in the first 10 days. And I wanted to start sending them valuable content where I'm helping them with whatever it is they've opted in for. So no matter what it is we've gathered the email for, I want to help them. I want to serve them. And actually, this was kind of done by accident. Initially, I was doing this to solve this, but I was also doing it because I like to serve. And I noticed that many people were holding stuff behind a paywall. So I thought this would be a good place. And then what we started noticing was that these emails then started to move to the inbox. Interesting, right? And what it was the signal that was going backwards and forwards was people were opening the emails because they weren't being sold to, right? So it kind of sounds basic and crazy, but this is kind of what happened, right? And there was a few other things that we noticed as well that we could do to avoid getting them to those spam folders, right? So we could also nurture them in 10 days, as I said, and we build know, like, and trust, which created that Pavlov's dog response. So every single day, what would happen was every day someone would open their email, they would see my name, and they would be, okay, Paul's offering me value, Paul's helping me, Paul's delivering a lot of know, like, and trust, becoming a friend, right? Because you do end up feeling like a friend to people, right? Now, the other thing, I've left out a T here, but you can see, if you're watching this on YouTube, you want to use plain text. Now, obviously, you can put an image in, a lot of people put an image of themselves with their signature. They might do some of these funky templates, and those things are great. Don't get me wrong, like, I've used them and they do work really well. But what actually happens is that if you start sending images in the first 10 emails, this will trigger the spam filter, right? Believe it or not, it will trigger the spam filter. And of course, if one email goes to the spam filter, then they all go there. So what we noticed is, and this was trial and error, right? What we noticed was that if we just send text in the first 10 emails, then this basically moves stuff to the inbox. Then when we start adding images in later, by then the signals have all been kind of solidified. It goes to the inbox anyway. Right? So sending plain text emails like you would with a friend. Now, another thing you can do is break up your text in those emails. Now, if you send an email to a friend, you might send them a big long paragraph, but you don't want to do that. You want to break them up like almost like one paragraph per sentence. And the reason you do that is because it's more digestible for people, and they'll read one line and think and decide whether to read the next, then decide whether to read the next. Where if you put it in one big paragraph, if it's from your family or friend, they'll read it. But if it's from someone they don't know, they get a bit overwhelmed, right? So breaking it up into paragraphs is a really good idea. It's not normally how you would write, but for marketing, that is a good way of doing it, because people will then decide to read the next line, and you'll find that then your click-through rate will go up for whatever thing you want to click through, because they're more likely to get to the bottom of the email, right? So that works really good. We avoid using pictures as well, and we avoid using spammy words. So if you're saying something like make money online, right, or make money online is actually okay, but if you want to say make $1 million or generate $1 million in a day or something like crazy, then all the AI spiders out there and the algorithms, they know that this stuff is spammy, and they'll just push it straight to the spam folders. So what you want to do is you want to basically, and this is what we did, we just reworded it. So it'd be like, instead of make $1 million in a day, generate a healthy income in record time, right? Kind of says the same thing, but not spammy, okay? And it'll push it to the inbox. So that works really, really well. And this one here, I see big marketers out there at the moment doing this, right? You want to basically take anything with total capital letters like free or now or things like that, right? And I've even found them in some of my old emails, so I even make this mistake without realizing. what you want to do is you want to remove those, and instead you can bold that word. So if you want a word to stand out, like you would with capitals, if you bold it, it doesn't send it to the spam filters. It basically still stands out, still does the thing that it needs to do, but it's not going to, it's not going to do that. So hopefully that's good value, and hopefully that helps. And now, and by doing that, that's how I went from 20% open rate and 2% click-through rate to, pretty much on average over 50% open rate and around sort of 10-20% click-through rate, depending on what the click was for, right? Which was pretty cool. So what I also did was, because I wanted to work out how to reduce the cost of my ads, I used valuable content from my YouTube channel, right? Which ended up ranking my videos. So as people were coming through and watching these in the first 10 days, Google and YouTube recognize that this is happening and push them up the search engines, right? Because they know that they are not showing them up and they go up the search engines. Now, this is really, really important, because if you think about it, when Harry and Meghan have a baby, right, and you go and put it in Google, it comes up at the top of Google, right? And the other day I noticed that Rory McIlroy, again, I put this in and he came up all over the place. And the reason that happens is because Google knows that this site's getting thousands of views right now. But because we were sending them to this content, and we were constantly sending them to this content, and all the traffic that was coming from YouTube was going back into that content, it pushed them up, but they would stay up, right? So we were now getting all of our leads completely for free, right? See how powerful that is, right? And and that reduced the cost of my leads. And like I say, the most were free, right? And this is how we do this. We basically we send them one per day. So on day 1, here's a piece of valuable content. On day 2, here's a piece of valuable content. On day 3. And what happens is like I say, because they're opening at over 50%, all of these videos are getting watched, right? Now, you don't have to actually do this with videos. You can send them any type of valuable content. But if you want to reduce your cost of your marketing, then you use videos from YouTube, right? Because YouTube is the best format. Like, people prefer video anyway, so they're much more likely to watch a video than they are to do anything else, right? Because video is the number one consumed content online. And secondly, it's going to basically push your traffic up, and all the traffic coming from these videos in YouTube, you put back into this valuable content when they opt in, right? So it's a sort of Roboros system. So, and it keeps them up the top. So you're getting all this traffic coming in for free. It's insane. It works so well. And I've been helping my clients do this as well. And in a minute, actually, I'll give you a free course and show you how to build this, because if you've not got this in your system, you're kind of running paid ads, and paid ads are crazy right now, right? With this, you can run some paid ads, but in all honesty, you can switch them off. After this is all up and running, you just switch them off, right? Which is really cool. And this is how we generate crazy profits without running any ads, right? There's one type of ad that we run on YouTube, and they're dirt cheap, right? Dirt cheap. It's a specific type of ad. And again, I'll show you how to do that. But as a result of this, now people ask me, obviously, to speak on stages all over the world. I don't do it very often, but people do actually ask me to go and speak and train on my systems. I get invited to private masterminds. I actually won this one in an affiliate competition using this system, which is kind of crazy. And I got to hang out with Russell for the day, which was one of the most treasured things I've ever done, right? So if you want me to break down how to do this so you can actually put it together and actually put this together piece by piece, we've actually got this. I've got every single type of business covered inside this free course. So whether you've got, if you're doing a local business, whether you're doing e-commerce, if you're a coach, consultant, or if you you're selling courses, or if you're an affiliate marketer, if you're doing local business rank and rent, basically I've got each one of the strategies. We've got like hour and a half long strategies inside this course for you. You can just choose which one, and you can basically build out this system from start to finish. And I don't charge a penny. So if you want to do that, go to helpmegetleads.com. And if you're wondering, like, why are you giving this away? What's the trick? What's the catch? Well, a very small percentage of people want to work with us and want us to help them build it, right? I'll show you how to build it, because obviously I want to give as much value. I want to build know, like, and trust with you. But at some point, some people will want to work with me. So there's no like dodgy upsell or anything. It's kind of a case of like, come in, get the system, get it going, and then when you want help with us, then we will help you dirt cheap, like way cheaper than any ad agency or anything like that. But again, you don't have to do that. You can just come and get this now for free. So go to helpmegetleads.com to get that. If you do want to work with us, you want to jump straight to working with us, then you can go to iservefirst.com, and we will basically start working with you immediately. So yeah, that's it for today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I'll catch you on the next episode.